Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another episode of JLD Reactions. Today I'm going to be ranking all 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, from my least favorite to my favorite season. So guys, let's go ahead and get started, but before we do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Let's get started. Okay, starting with my least favorite season of them all, it's going to have to be Season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, Season 6 to me was just very, very mopey and out of tune with the whole entire show. If you know about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its history, it started off on the WB and moved over to UPN starting in its 6th cycle. Also, Joss Whedon pulled back on a lot of the creative control and he left the writing mostly up to Marty Noxon. And the thing with Marty Noxon is she claimed after the show that most of her experience in writing was actually in dramas, and I definitely noticed that shift in the show from a sci-fi action adventure show like in the first 4 seasons to a drama with sci-fi elements, and I just was not a huge fan of the turn. Buffy came back from the dead and she was kind of mopey the whole season. And it's okay for her to be mopey. I get it. She was upset because she got pulled out of hell and her mom is dead and now she has all these responsibilities and she was happy she was in heaven. But at the same time, for television's sake and writing's sake, I don't think having her mope around for almost the whole season was a good choice. I think it made the show very boring. And like I said, the show just didn't feel like Buffy anymore. Also, I thought the big bad of the season, which some people may argue that was Willow, some people may also argue that's the trio. We're going to go with the trio. That the trio was very stupid. Out of all 7 seasons, they are the worst big bad of all 7 seasons, without a doubt. They were so dumb, so stupid, I couldn't even take them seriously. I thought their antics were dumb. I just thought everything about them was dumb. I didn't like them at all. And then Willow was revealed, according to some people, to end up being the true big bad of the season because she becomes addicted to magic and her powers get out of control once Tara gets killed. Now, personally, I wasn't a huge fan of Tara. I always preferred Oz. I thought Tara was a bit too mousy and I thought they never really developed her. But overall, Dark Willow, I'm just not a huge fan of the whole Dark Willow saga. It's okay. But quite frankly, I just think her whole descent into magic addiction was it just felt a bit too on the nose. And also the magic in season 6 didn't really align with the magic of the earlier seasons. I feel like the magic of the earlier seasons was a bit more grounded. Whereas if you see in season 6, when she's with Amy, Willow is with Amy in a club, and they're just like waving their hands like Sabrina the Teenage Witch and changing people's clothes and shit, and I was like, this is not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I definitely felt like the show lost sense of what it was in season 6, and I did not like that at all. Coming in at number 6, we have season 5. Now, the problem with season 5 for me is essentially the introduction of Dawn, and I feel like Dawn kind of ruined the show. I feel like she completely changed the dynamic of the Scoobies. The Scoobies just never felt the same once they introduced Dawn. It was always Buffy has to take care of her little sister. Buffy became a mom in season 5, and I just thought that dragged on the show. And I get it. I get it. People are going to be like, yeah, but don't you understand? She's growing up. She's getting more responsibilities. That has more emotional impact. Yeah, I get it. But it just made the show less fun to me. I also wasn't a huge fan of Glory. I don't see what the big deal is. She had a lot of, you know, cute one-liners from time to time, but personally I think Faith was a much better villain. And Glory just was kind of lackluster. She was a god, but I just never felt like she was truly that intimidating of a villain. And just saying that she's a god doesn't necessarily make her into an intimidating villain. Plus her weakness, turning into Ben, was, I don't know, I just wasn't a huge fan of Glory's. And also, this season does have some really good episodes, of course. We have The Body. Well, The Body is actually like the only good episode that I can really think of in this season, which I've only watched once and I haven't watched it in 20 years. I might do a rewatch of it. But the Dracula episode I thought was really dumb. I just thought this whole season was just not, it wasn't horrible, but it definitely wasn't up to true Buffy form. And also, this is the same season that the original stunt double for Buffy, Sophia Crawford, left the show because they were having disputes. And the fight choreography became super bad, and the cinematography as well. I don't know what happened with the cinematography, but the camera angles just got shakier. I don't know what happened, but it just didn't have that clean, crisp look of seasons 3 and season 4. So I was not a fan of that. Overall, it's just a meh season, but not nearly as bad as season 6. And also, like I said, The Body was a really good episode, but for me personally, and this might be a plus for some people, it depends on your personality type. After Buffy's mom died, the rest of the season was just gloomy, man. I'm not a fan of gloomy Buffy. I just said that I wasn't a fan of gloomy season 6. And I wasn't a huge fan of gloomy season 5. I just thought it was too gloomy. Like I said, for some people that might be a plus. Ooh, gloominess. I like gloomy. Some people like gloomy. I don't like gloomy. I prefer the earlier fun seasons of the show when it was more about adventure and less about drama. Coming in at slot 5, we have season 4. Now, I really don't have much to say about season 4, so that should actually say a lot. I don't think season 4 was a bad season. I recently rewatched it, and I was pleasantly surprised that it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. I remember the first time I saw it, I wasn't impressed. I do like the concept of the government getting involved with the magic world. However, I feel like Adam as a big bad was not very interesting, to be honest. I don't think anybody really likes Adam. And also the way they defeated him, the Deus Ex Machina, that they just did a spell and then Buffy got all these extra powers and defeated him. I thought that was a little bit, again, Deus Ex Machina. But there were some good things in the season as well. We saw that Spike joined the team, and we do love Spike. I'm not a Spike and Buffy fan. I definitely believe that Buffy should be with Angel. Probably just because I find Angel more physically attractive. But that's when that whole plot line got started. We also got Anya. Anya was cool, but to me, she was not a great replacement for Cordelia. And that's one of the things that season 4 is missing for me. Cordelia and Angel. I really felt the lack of Cordelia and Angel. And I'm glad that they left the show because I love Angel. And I actually might like it a little bit more than Buffy now. I used to not, but I think I might like it a little bit more than Buffy. But I definitely felt their lack of presence. And I hated the way that they dumbed Anya down as well. Because when Anya was in high school, she was a demon, but she knew stuff. And then in season 4, all of a sudden, she didn't know what anything was. It's like, what? You use cash to pay for objects? Huh? I don't understand this concept. Of course you understand that concept. You didn't seem like you didn't understand that concept before in season 3 when you made your first appearance. So I thought that was a little strange. And also, the Scoobies aren't really in contact very much with each other. And I get that. That makes very much a lot of sense. Because they are in college and they are starting to do their own things. And Xander's doing construction and Willow's, getting girlfriends. And Buffy's with Riley. And that's another thing that I disliked about this season. Riley. I was not a fan of Riley. I'm not a fan of Riley. And I know that everybody else, well, most people are not a fan of Riley. And I feel like Riley just didn't fit into the whole world of the show. The Scooby Gang, the thing is about the Scooby Gang that separates it from the characters in, say, the Vampire Diaries, is that the Scooby Gang is about a whole bunch of misfits. A whole bunch of misfits that the majority of the world just wouldn't understand. And Riley was just so corn-fed Nebraska farm boy that he just didn't fit, man. To me, he just didn't fit. He was not a worthy successor of Angel. Because, Angel's dark and sexy. And Riley was just, you want to go to church? Let's go to church on Sunday and read our Bible. I'm like, no, that doesn't really fit. And he was just he didn't ask enough questions. He was completely brainwashed by the initiative. And like I said, I don't think anybody liked them. But overall, there's a lot of good seasons. There's a lot of good episodes in the season. We have, I can only really think of, there's This Year's Girl. That was a really good one, where she switches bodies with Faith. And there's also Hush, Everybody loves Hush. That's really a great episode, and that's when we first meet Tara. It's not that I disliked Tara. I just didn't think she was a worthy successor of Oz. I didn't think she was nearly as funny or interesting. Same with Riley. I didn't think he was nearly as interesting as Angel. But overall, decent season. Not nearly as bad as I remember, and decent. Coming in at spot number 4, we have Season 7. Now, I know that everybody hates Season 7, and I'm one of those people that really enjoyed Season 7. I thought it was better than 6, 5, and 4. I actually liked the idea of the potentials. I thought that was a really cool concept, even though it did feel a bit retconned, because they never really alluded to potentials having, you know, stronger than usual strength. That just kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, I don't know about that. But overall, I did enjoy the feel of it. All of them at the house against this, you know, this adversary. The end is coming, and everybody's at Buffy's house figuring out plans. And we also got Faith back up in there. I thought that was really good. People had their own alternative, ulterior motives, such as we had Principal Woods. And I liked Kennedy. And I know everybody hates Kennedy, but I don't see what the problem was with Kennedy. Everybody says the problem with her is that she was just too bitchy or something. I didn't think she was bitchy. I thought she was very confident and very supportive of Willow. And I think people just hated it that she was confident. Yeah, people hated her because she was confident and she went for the things that she wanted. But I like Kennedy. I also liked the end of the series. I thought that the way that they ended it was great. I thought not killing Buffy, because remember that's what they did in season 5 when they did that psych out. Everybody thought the show was over and they killed off Buffy, which was a little bit more morbid. Instead, it was more optimistic. Buffy doesn't have to do it all alone. Now she has all these other Slayers. I haven't read the comic books, but she has all these other Slayers that can help her with this mission of keeping demons and whatever else in check. She doesn't have to do it alone, and it was very optimistic. Now she can get out of Sunnydale. Well, Sunnydale's destroyed, but now she can leave Sunnydale finally, and now she can actually make a life for herself. Coming in at spot number 3, we have Season 1. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people like to talk shit about Season 1, and yeah, it's very dated. I'm not gonna lie. Season 1 is very dated. Also, it's super campy, cheap, but you know what? For me, I love it because the heart is there. And I also have a little nostalgia attached to it. I still remember when it premiered. I was 11 years old. And I was like, I'm not going to watch that show. That show looks too scary. I don't want to watch that. I was 11. But I checked out the first 5 minutes, and Darla turns around and she bites that guy in the gym or in the school, and I was like kind of hooked. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll watch one more minute. And then they did the intro music, and I was like, well, I like the intro. Well, maybe I'll give it another minute. And then the opening with Xander meeting Buffy, and Buffy arriving to the school, and she has a secret. What's her secret? She's a Slayer. And then I was hooked. I was hooked. I was hooked on the whole dynamic of this new girl at school who's a misfit, who doesn't fit in. And she has this destiny, and she's fighting, and the mythology of the show was just getting started back then, so we didn't know. Well, I mean, I always knew that Angel was a vampire. I actually assumed that he was a vampire when we first met him. So it was never a surprise when they revealed that to me. But the dialogue in Season 1 is very funny, and just a cool little world, you know? They did a lot with the budget and the resources that they had. The heart is definitely there. The heart is most definitely there. And the whole season had, for what it was, a good season arc. I liked the Master. I thought he was funny. I thought he was charming. I know people think he's super corny, but I don't see that. Maybe I have, you know, bad taste. I don't know. But I like the Master, and Season 1 was great, man. Coming in at spot number 2, we have Season 2. Now, I love Season 2. I think it's a fantastic season. We had great big bads this season. We had Spike, Drusilla, Angelus for the whole season. I thought they were really fun. I thought that the actors played off of each other very, very well. Who doesn't love Spike? Who doesn't love Drusilla? This season had a lot of great episodes. We got School Hard. I know a lot of people hate Bad Eggs, but I like Bad Eggs, and I think Bad Eggs is a very memorable episode. I don't see why people hate it. There's Passions. There's, you know, just a lot of really good ones. We get the introduction of Oz in the season. Even though I hate that werewolf episode, the introduction of Oz was worth it because we love Oz. I think he's just a very funny character. Also, they expanded the mythology of the show with the introduction of Kendra, who ended up dying at the end of the season. But it was good that they introduced her. I thought that those episodes were great because it was Kendra versus Buffy, and they hate each other at first, but then they soon eventually learn to work together to defeat a common enemy, which would be Spike. And yeah, that was just a great season. And also just the whole tension of Angelus and the way he tortured Buffy and followed her around, and then he goes to her house and tells Joyce, "I can't stop thinking about her since that night we made love." I mean, come on, man. That was great. That was very tense. Season 2 was a very tense season. That's when the show really started to show that it could be more than just a little campy show, a little campy teenager show, like in season 1. And well, they really showed that also when Jenny Calendar died, because I really liked Jenny Calendar and they killed her off. And that episode was, we all know that Passions is a great episode, but yeah, overall, season 2, definitely pretty much overall consistent with a few exceptions. Of course, we have Go Fish, which is, in my book, the worst episode out of the entire series. Either Go Fish or Inca Mummy Girl. Actually, Inca Mummy Girl is the worst episode of all 7 seasons, probably, for me. Or maybe that robot episode in season 6, or season 5 with the robot girlfriend. That was so stupid. Okay, guys, last but not least, we have season 3. Now, I think most people consistently agree that either seasons 2 and seasons 3 are the best seasons. That's what I've consistently seen on Buffy forums and in chat rooms and wherever else, that it's usually seasons 3 and seasons 2. And I agree. I have a hard time choosing between the two, but I lean a little bit more with season 3 because the cinematography is on point in season 3. It looks very polished. Seasons 1 and seasons 2, the cinematography looks a bit dated, a bit grainy, and I'm okay with that. But for new viewers, they might not like that. Also, they get rid of that sci-fi, 80s-y, early 90s background music. They get rid of that. And also, the fight choreography is on point. Sophia Crawford and her husband, I can't remember his name. You can actually watch their videos here online on YouTube. The fight choreography comes back polished, and they prove that with a bang with Anne, because she has a whole fight sequence in hell that's probably one of the best fight sequences to me to date. The best fight sequence of them all is from the episode where she fights Faith. I can't remember what it's called. The graduation day, part 1, where she fights Faith at the end in her condo or whatever. That's still the best fight sequence of all 7 seasons, no doubt. Also, the writing is just consistently good. We have a lot of great episodes. We have Anne. We have Frenemies, or Enemies. Is it Frenemies or Enemies? We have Band Candy. We have just a whole bunch of very consistently good episodes. The only 2 episodes that I probably didn't like were Dead Man's Party and Beauty and the Beast. I'm not a big fan of those 2 episodes. But overall, just a great season. And also Faith turning on Buffy mid-season and working with the mayor, whom I love. I thought the mayor was a great big bad. And the relationship that they developed between Faith and the mayor, to be honest, I almost wanted them to win. Like, that's how good I loved their relationship. Faith and the mayor's relationship, I loved it so much. I felt so good for Faith that she actually had a father figure in her life. I secretly wanted them to beat Buffy. Not really, but to a certain extent, I did want them to beat Buffy. And also, the great thing about season 3 is that it does have a gangster, underground, demon world feel to it. It feels very much like a graphic novel or a comic book or something like that. And that's why I really enjoy season 3. And if you go and watch Angel kind of keeps that style of Buffy season 3. Buffy season 3 for me is the pinnacle of Buffy. And Angel kind of keeps that whole demon underworld style that I really like. But overall, yes, season 3 for me is the best because it's just the most consistent. It looks the best. The writing's the best. Very polished. Very good season. We love Faith. What's not to like? Okay, guys, that's it for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please don't forget to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. And if you agree or disagree with me, I know that people who love Season 6 will probably definitely agree with me because I've met a few of you guys. Just leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think. What's your ranking for Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Okay, guys, I will see you in the next one. Ciao.